I am taking the leap from raising chickens in my backyard by myself to benefit me to seeing if I can turn it into a business here at our family farm to benefit our nonprofit. Now, I've only ever raised about 50 meat birds at a time. And I've watched people like Joel Salatin do workshops before, and I've been making little YouTube videos at home. And yet, I plan on raising over 600 meat birds this year, potentially doing 7 workshops to teach people what I've learned, all while filming it and creating a weekly series on YouTube. Now, before we get started, I feel like I should give you a little bit of backstory of why this even matters to me and how I got to this point. If you don't already know me, my name is Michael.
On the far right, it's my nephew Michael.
And I work here at Hardison Mill Farm.
Michael does filming.
Alongside my Uncle Rory and some of our other family members.
Father, thank you so much for today, for this evening.
These expensive tents down.
Yeah.
We're gonna head outside to the tunnel side. You want me to spray you?
Put on the end, sweet as
My wife's name is Hannah. We have 3 children together. We rent a little home on a 1-acre lot in the next town over, about 15 minutes from here. In 2020, just a year after we were married, 2 things happened that we had no idea at the time would forever change our lives. First, we tilled up a small garden in our backyard because my wife had never had a garden of her own, and she wanted to try and grow a few vegetables for fun. Second, I picked up a camera and decided I wanted to learn how to capture stories at our family bakery to share online. We had no idea at the time that COVID was about to hit, and that we would quickly look at my wife's small garden as something more than just having fun. And that those stories I thought I was meant to capture wasn't at the bakery, but it was our story.
I got a little bitty.
And the time required to learn how to film and edit and plant and nurture wouldn't be squeezed into evenings and weekends. It would fill our days and our weeks, as we weren't allowed to go anywhere. The garden quickly grew, and laying hens found their way into our backyard. It was in May of 2021 when Homesteaders of America held a small conference at the farm that we were first exposed to people who called themselves homesteaders. We were completely intrigued.
Pet her.
At the conference, the first thing I noticed was a couple guys walking around with cameras in their hands with big fluffy microphones on top, filming themselves, like I was. And I remember immediately feeling like, these are my people.
So you get to get out early.
By August of that same year, I had ordered my first round of 25 meat birds. I had no idea what I was doing. I only really knew what I had been learning from following some of those guys on YouTube. But we were hooked. It felt so right to us. Something about growing and raising our own food felt as though it had been a missing piece in our life for a long time. I was inspired by Joel Salatin and Jason from Sow the Land and many others, and I built my own chicken tractor for our meat birds. And then another one. I also built a coop for our laying hens. I bought electric fences, heat lamps, feeders, the whole 9 yards. And thankfully, Uncle Rory had a spot at the farm with some supplies to butcher our chickens. In 2022, we kept going. Our garden doubled in size, and my wife began learning several new ways to preserve our food. I went from 1 round of 25 meat birds the year before to 3 rounds. We began to realize this lifestyle was more than just raising and growing our own food.
That's a lot.
It was leading us back to the home, showing us what was most important. Now this past year, I began to wonder what it would take to raise meat birds and sell them as a way to help reduce the cost for our family. McMurray Hatchery is shipping me 100 Cornish cross meat birds today. So my sister Megan and I devised a plan to raise 100 meat birds. I don't think my property could really do 100 birds. Now Megan had never raised chickens before, and I'd only done 25 or so at a time. So we were in over our head before we even began. Over to Hardison Mill Farm. The plan would be we would sell 40 of them in hopes that it would pay us back for the entire cost to raise all 100. And that would leave us with 60 birds left over to fill our freezers for free. Megan's been drinking mimosas. But we didn't end up selling any of them. But what we gained in experience, especially for me, was far more valuable. It's just, these bigger birds are getting most of the food, so some of them aren't. Now, if you fast forward to just a few months ago, our family came together and decided we would like to expand a nonprofit of the one-room schoolhouse to cover the entire farm.
You always do this to me. Processing our Thanksgiving turkey.
We wanted the things that were having such a big impact on our lives to be able to reach as many people as possible. So over the last several months, we have been putting in place structures to offer classes, and workshops, conferences, and so much more to help people also find their way back home.
An hour south of Nashville.
But as we decided to take this turn into a nonprofit with a mission, I decided I wanted to do more than just sit behind a computer or stand behind the camera. I wanted to do something that could help financially and help share the mission that has also had such a huge impact on my life. So over the next 7 months, I'll be attempting to raise over 600 meat chickens, teach a half a dozen workshops for the first time. I'll be going through thousands of pounds of feed, bags and bags of wood chips, lots of chicken poop, fighting off predators, buckets of guts, moving, and moving. And if that's not enough, I'm gonna be filming the whole thing and sharing it in a weekly series, all to help raise money for our nonprofit. So if you would like to pre-order some chicken from us, you can do so here. Or if you would like to join me in an upcoming processing workshop, you can sign up here. Thank you so much for watching.